So right now I'm going to Canadian Tire to buy these the speakers. I'm not gonna buy anything crazy. I think I'll keep everything in the 100 watts power, but I still need the speakers for the front and the rear, and the subwoofer and the amplifier. The subwoofer, maybe I'll buy it in a second time, because I don't exactly know what kind of box I want to buy. It depends on the bed, how it opens in the van, and so maybe I'll stand by on that, and I'll just buy the rest, and maybe also the secondary battery. So as you can see behind me, I'm in Canadian Tire, and of course there are better places to buy speakers for your car than Canadian Tire, but I really didn't want to spend too much time and put too much effort in finding the speakers that I need, because it's not a very expensive or crazy audio system. Is just to have some good music in the van when you do long trips, and it's just an upgrade from the factory system. So I'm just going for something relatively simple.
Lovely.
So to connect the two batteries, I'm gonna buy one of these packages with cables and clamps. I don't need the clamps, so I'm gonna just get rid of the clamps, but it's usually cheaper this way than buying the cables separately. So that's what I did last time, and this is also a good gauge. It's like 4 gauge. 5 meters should be plenty enough to go from the hood to the back of the van. So that's what I've got there. Then I'll need a few of these connections to seal obviously the you know, the cable onto the connection, and then plug it onto the battery. But I'm gonna get these ones in Lordco. I got this Nautilus Ultra here. That's 79 ampere hour. I didn't want to go to the 105 ampere hours because it's too big of a battery, and it's also very heavy, and also you only gain basically 20 extra amps. This is 79, as you can see here, and I'd rather get 2 of these and put them together than have one bigger battery, because that's more efficient, since even the 105 amp hour battery is only rated at 20 hours. So I'd rather do a double setup. There are all sorts of things you might need in order to do the electrical, obviously wiring and all the connectors, and the isolator here, the shrinkable isolator tubing, and there is a bunch of fuses here and there. So there is a lot of things, also the cable protector, but these are things that I have at home anyway, and I don't think I need to buy them right now, although I do a stop at Lordco and buy a bunch of wire of different colors. Since we need a black, we need a red, so positive and negative, and then we need probably buy a white or whatever I can find there, as a return cable to go to the switches to turn on and off the lights, for example, or whatever needs to be turned on and off. Alright, one thing I was forgetting is the water tank. That's really important because that defines the size of the cabinet that hosts the sink as well as the stove. Hopefully I can find something that is durable, because I really don't want to have dirty water leaking into the van, and not even clean water, to be honest. So we'll see what I can find. So there are these Desert Patrols water containers. I'm not sure how good they are, but we can take a look. I can't reach there. I have to do something weird. So that's 6 gallons, is quite big, to be honest. So I'm not sure this is gonna fit where it needs to fit. Aqua pack. This is tiny. This might be, oops,
this might be a better option. Let's see. This is 2.5 gallons, 10 liters. Maybe too small. Take this one too, and then we see. There isn't much more here. I expected to see something else, but that's all I can see. Yeah. No other containers. Oh, one word on these plastic ones, like these ones. These are garbage. Don't buy this stuff. It doesn't matter which brand you buy, they're just useless. They crack or they break, and then you have leaks, and it's really annoying, so you don't want to do that. This is a Reliant spout replacement, so that's good. So one thing and the other is almost 10 o'clock, and that's how you waste time buying stuff. It's a lot of time spent in just going around and find the right stuff, so always budget that in your bill. I think I got everything I need. Got the cables for the battery itself, the water tanks that should give me I think everything that I need to calculate the space I need for the cabinets. And so now I can go back and put everything together in the same space and see what else do I need. I will go to Lordco though to buy the connectors and the wires, and then I should be good to go and start removing all the seats from the van and putting the electrical together, and then we see what happens. Half of the day is already gone just buying stuff and looking for things that are more or less useful. So now I'm in Lordco. I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of connectors, the switches, the fuses and the wiring, and then I go home and finally start working on the electrical. Let's go. Alright, so they have the battery bases, they have the boxes too. So there is all this stuff that I will add afterwards, I suppose. So the wiring is here, just gonna have to double check the gauge that I need. Usually most things can be wired on a 16 gauge. I usually like to get a wiring that is one size bigger than, you know, the nominal power that you need, just because this keeps everything safe. So 14 gauge might be it's a little bit too big. 16 is not available, and they only have 18 gauge, so that's the first problem right there. So this is the pain in the ass when you live in a place like this where there isn't much availability of anything. So I'm gonna have to ask if they have it. Then there is all these switches and the connectors here. I'm not sure I'm gonna bring all this stuff and hold the camera at the same time, so I might just stop recording and get what I need, and then I'll show you afterwards. Alright, and let me show you what I bought in Lordco because my hands were busy. So this is all the stuff. That's over $100 just for these few things here. So wire, this is 6 gauge, 14 gauge, they didn't have the 16 gauge for the red, hopefully that's not a problem. 16 gauge for the white as well. And then I have some straps. I wanted the smaller ones, they didn't have that high there. I mean, I'm really annoyed when I can't find stuff, but in Squamish there is a limited selection. There is only one Lordco, so I can't really do much about it. And these are the connectors for the cables that go to the battery, as well as the connectors for the cables that go to the fuse boxes for the two batteries. So one goes to the battery in the front, one goes to the battery in the back. So that's about it. This little stuff here, just these few things, costs over $100. So that's what you are going through when you have to do an electrical system. So it's better you account for that, because these things are the classic things that you cannot do without. Like, you really need that. And also there is all sort of connectors that I have inside that cabinet there, the cabinets with stuff. Then it's not really easy to have everything always handy. See, like here I do have more connectors, more electrical stuff in here. So you see, I do have some extra wire, and then I do have more wire protector here, and I do have more electrical stuff into this box here. A few, like, you know, like switches, a couple of things, usable things. What is this? That's a voltmeter here, and I also have some more wire here. This is a heavier gauge though. Other fuse boxes, a bunch of stuff, speaker wire, which we will need. This is 16 gauge, I think, so we are good. So that's 16, and here I do have 14, and I already scratched myself. This is another thing that always happens when you do electrical system. You always end up scratched, always, like your hands become a mess, like they you cut yourself and then you have to crimp stuff, and it's just the way it is. So take that into account as well. Your hands are gonna be beaten up by when we are done. What we are gonna do now is get rid of the seats in the van and make space. The rear seats are already removed. I just need to put them in the garage, and then start opening up the panels and replacing everything we need to replace. So let's get on to it.